They found the dog tag, but not the soldier. In a remote desert, an archaeologist unearthed a soldier's dog tag buried beneath the dust of time. But when they ran the number, nothing. No match, no record, no man. Who was this soldier, and why did the military act like he never existed? Welcome to The Last Stand, where we honor the forgotten, the erased, and the silenced. What would you do if you discovered a soldier's identity had been wiped from history? Let us know in the comments below as we uncover a story hidden for half a century. It was supposed to be just another dig. Arizona's sun beat down hard on the backs of the archaeological team as they chipped away at the dry, stubborn earth. Their work was focused on uncovering remnants of an old military training site from the 1940s, mostly buttons, shell casings, or rusted canteens. Nothing exciting, until Dr. Endos/Devon Telsex. Eleanor Hayes hit something solid. She knelt and brushed the sand away with practiced fingers. What emerged was a small, corroded piece of metal on a rusted chain. A dog tag. The number was still visible. But the name was worn down to almost nothing, just a faint, ghostly outline of the letters. Eleanor stood still for a moment, holding it in her gloved hand. Something didn't feel right. She handed it over to her assistant, who snapped a few photos and ran the number through the military archives. That's when the first red flag appeared. No match. Not a single record of the number. Not under the Department of Defense. Not in the National Archives. Not even listed among the MIA or Kia soldiers from the era. Eleanor frowned. That's impossible. And yet it was as if the man had never existed. She stared at the tag again. Something deep in her gut told her this was no ordinary artifact. This wasn't a lost item. It was a buried secret. Eleanor couldn't sleep that night. She kept going back to the number. The worn tag. The blank space where a name should have been. The next morning, she reached out to a retired military archivist she had worked with once on a separate excavation. Colonel David Mercer, sharp as ever, despite the cane and the silver hair. "I've never seen anything like this," he said after studying the photos. "This isn't just missing data," he added, squinting. "It's like someone erased him." Mercer explained that standard military tags from the 1940s followed a rigid format: name, serial number, blood type, religious affiliation. But this tag, it only had the number. And something strange etched along the bottom in near microscopic letters, almost like a code. "What is that?" Eleanor asked. "Looks like a unit designation," he replied. "But it's been scratched out and re-engraved. Sloppy, almost like someone didn't want it to be traced." That chilled her more than she expected. She asked Mercer if it was possible this man had been part of a covert operation. Mercer paused. "If he was, you'll never find him in the books." "But wouldn't someone report him missing?" she asked. Mercer looked down at the printout again. "Not if they were never meant to exist." A week later, Eleanor stood on the windswept hill where she'd uncovered the dog tag. The site had been cleared. The dig was done, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something was still there. She went back to the trench one last time. At the base of the pit, buried deeper than the original layer, she saw something glinting in the dirt. Her hands trembled as she brushed away the soil. It was a metal canister, sealed and heavy with age. Inside was a tightly folded piece of fabric, a torn remnant of what once must have been a uniform. No insignia, no rank, no patches, just one thing. A single brass button engraved with an eagle. Not the standard issue military eagle, but one used in classified divisions during the Cold War. She took the artifact to Colonel Mercer. His face paled. "Where did you say you found this?" he asked. She pointed to the site map. He exhaled sharply. That area was off limits. Top brass ordered all documents sealed. Even I couldn't get access back then. "What was it?" Eleanor asked. Mercer didn't answer immediately. He turned to face her, his voice low. "There are stories," he said, "of soldiers sent on missions so dangerous, so politically volatile. The government buried every trace of them. No service records, no homecomings, not even burials. And if this man was one of them, he was never meant to be remembered." Eleanor knew she had crossed a line. The kind of line where curiosity becomes obligation. She contacted a retired military archivist named Walter Sloan, a man known for solving cases the government had long forgotten or deliberately buried. When Walter examined the button and the dog tag, his expression turned grim. "This man," he whispered, turning the artifacts in his hand, "wasn't just part of a black ops unit. He was a ghost." Eleanor blinked. "A ghost?" Walter nodded. "Code name only. Operated behind enemy lines. If captured, disavowed. Even his family would have never been told what happened." "But he had a family," Eleanor said. "I know he did. Someone missed him." Walter looked up. "And that's what they counted on. That time would wash away the memory." But it hadn't. The name etched on the dog tag J. Holloway didn't appear in any post-war discharge database. Nah death notice, nah medal awarded, nah record. It was as if he'd never existed. And yet, Eleanor had his button, his dog tag, and his story, waiting to be unearthed. Walter leaned closer. "If you're going to tell this man's story," he said, "you need to be ready, because the truth you find might not be the one people want to hear." Eleanor took a deep breath. "I'm not doing this for people," she said. "I'm doing it for him." The small town of Bridgewater, nestled in the hills of Kentucky, had long forgotten the name J. Holloway, until now. Eleanor's investigation led her to a single box of documents declassified just months ago, tucked away in a digital archive no one bothered to check. Among the blurry scanned pages was a photograph, 4 men in uniform standing under a torn American flag. One of them wore a wristwatch with a broken strap, the same strap Eleanor had found in the closet, folded beneath the dog tag. "I found him," she whispered. But the name under the photo wasn't Holloway. It was Scant, Alan Reeve, KIA, 1973, Laos. No family listed, another ghost. She brought this to Walter. He stared at the image for a long time. "We were wrong," he said. Holloway wasn't his name. It was a call sign, a protective alias. Eleanor sat down, trying to process it all. "Then who was Alan Reeve?" Walter exhaled deeply. Reeve was recruited into a program so secret, even his death was staged. They needed deniability. They needed ghosts. Eleanor looked down at the journal again, at the stories, the names of villages, the regrets, the promises. It was Alan Reeve, a man who had once fought without a name, now dying without a grave. And yet, his story had finally surfaced not through an official press release, but through a nurse's kindness and an old closet full of silence. Eleanor typed up the first draft of her article that night. She didn't lead with covert operations, or medals, or conspiracy. She led with this line: "This is a story about a man the world forgot, and a nurse who refused to let that happen." The day of the ceremony was gray, not from rain, but from memory. Eleanor stood beneath a worn flagpole in Bridgewater's Veterans Cemetery. No cameras, no speeches, just a handful of chairs, a folded flag, and a simple bronze plaque that now bore a name: Sket. Alan Reeve, Holloway, U.S. Army service without recognition. Walter was there, standing at attention in full dress blues. His right knee shook slightly, a tremor from years of shrapnel and silence. As the bugler played taps, Eleanor noticed something unusual. Down the road, parked in a neat line, were 4 motorcycles. Veterans, gray-haired, tattooed, stoic, stepped off, removed their caps, and approached the ceremony slowly, reverently. They hadn't known Alan Reeve, but they knew what it meant to be forgotten. One of them, an old Marine with a cane wrapped in paracord, knelt down beside the plaque and laid a patch beside it. "For the ones who didn't make it, but made sure we did," Eleanor wept quietly. Walter took out a small box from his coat. Inside was the dog tag, polished now, the chain unknotted. "I didn't know what to do with this," he said. Eleanor took his hand gently and placed the tag on the plaque. "You just did." As the crowd dispersed, an older woman approached. She introduced herself as Mary Holloway, a name Eleanor instantly recognized. She opened her purse and revealed a photograph. Alan Reeve smiling, holding a baby girl Mary, 30 years ago. "My mother was told he died before I was born, but I always wondered." She knelt and whispered, "Welcome home, Dad." And so, a man who lived in silence, who carried the weight of invisible wars, was finally remembered not by rank, not by medals, but by truth. All because someone opened a closet and chose to care.